log base 10 method returns the base 10 logarithm of a number. So if you want to check the base 10 logarithm of a number, use the math.log 10 log base 10 to check the base 10 logarithm of such number. And also what it basically interprets to is that how many times must you multiply a number to get maybe a higher number or the equivalent of it in higher values. So for example, let's say you want to get how many times you must multiply 10 to get 1000. You can use the log base 10 method in order to find that out. So let's take a look in my code editor. So now I want to change this from log 2 to log 10. Log 10. And then I'll pass the parameter 1000. So what this place is saying, how many times must you multiply 10 to get 1000? You can see that the return output is 3, which if you check it mathematically, it's correct. 10 times 10, that's 100. 100 times 10, that's 1000. So this is how we use the log base 10 to check how many times a number must be multiplied in order to get a value of a higher number. Or if you want to return the base 10 logarithm of a number, use the math.log base 10 method to check. Now, moving on to JavaScript math.random method. So, the random method can be used to generate a random number between 0 and 1. So, 0 is always inclusive, which means that 1 is exclusive. 1 is not always going to be the exact values that are generated from the random number, but 0 is a guarantee and always inclusive. Now, math.random method always return a number lower than 1. So we can have as many random numbers as possible, but then its returns value is always lower than what can be 0.9, can be 0.99, but yet it's not going to be that whole integer of 1. So it's always below and lower than 1. So let's take a look at that again. So if I pass this in and say math.random, so we're talking about math.random method returns a number lower than 1. Always returns a number lower than 1. So 0 is inclusive. 1 is exclusive. So you can see once you keep refreshing, the value of the numbers will be changing right here, as you can see on my screen. So let's move on. The math.random method used with math.flow method can be used to return random integer. So if you want to return a random integer, then you need another method to pair with the math.random method in order to be able to achieve that. And that method is called the math.flow method. So it can be used together with the math.random method in order to return random integer. So let's take a look at that in my code editor as well. Document.getElements.it HTML math.random. I hope you can see how this other method is being used, math.flow. So because the method you need to call it this way, then we multiply it by 10. Now, oh sorry, so supposed to be flow first before random, because random generates numbers between 0 and 1. So the floor is what is going to round it up to generate an integer. So you can see right now, you can see 5. If I refresh, 7, 5, 5, 3, 6, 1, 0, 3, 6, 0, 8, and 7. So you can see how the integer is being generated randomly. You can see for sometimes it will generate two numbers simultaneously or in succession. So that is what the math.floor help us to. So it helps us to return a random integers uh from our math.random method. So the math.random returns a floating point number between 0 and 1, like I said here that. So this random method always returns a number between 0 and 1. So the number is always lower than 1. So example of the output are what you've seen like 0.002, 0.631, and so on and so forth. But it's never going to return a whole number of 1. So when we use the method, math.random method times 10, so it gives a range from 0 up to, it gives a range from 0 to, but not including 10. So it will take a range of numbers from like 0 to 9, but 10 itself, which is this whole number, is not going to be included, because if you look at all the return number, 10 itself has not been returned. Do you understand it like that? So now, using the math.floor method, it will round the number down to the nearest whole integer. So, for example, let's say you have 3.5 with random number, so it will round it to 3. Say you have 9.99, it will become 9. Say you have 0.1, it will become 0. So the possible integer results are between 0 through 9. 0 through 9, both inclusive, but 10 is not going to be inclusive or contained. So in other words, the range is 0 to 9. So for this example here, the range here is numbers from 0 to 9, but 10 itself will not be inclusive. So the math.random method always return a number lower than 1. So 0 is inclusive while 1 is exclusive.